A local power company is now offering solar alternatives. News 4's Will Polston is live in the newsroom to explain how this new initiative will help people save money. Will, what can you tell us?
Well, Kinsley, like you said, many people are interested in transitioning over to solar energy, I should say, but they have been getting pushed away by the price tag. To purchase and to set up panels can cost somebody thousands of dollars. But with this new program, members can cut out those first couple of steps and just get straight to the power.
Wiregrass Electric Cooperative cut the ribbon on their new solar panel farm, jumpstarting a community solar program. It offers an alternative to typical energy sources and aims to make powering up more affordable.
Through our program, we'll literally save our members thousands of dollars annually by participating and still getting the benefit of solar electricity without having the cost themselves of generating it at their home through some type of rooftop program.
3 rows of 324 panels generate about 220,000 kilowatt hours every year. That's enough to fully power 15 homes or charge 20 electric vehicles for all 365 days. The benefit for members? They get solar energy without buying and installing their own panels, all for less than the cost of a 12-pack of soft drinks.
$4 would get about 333 kilowatt hours. The equivalent of 333 kilowatt hours is going to take about 4 panels. So that's what they would have, a member would have to do if they did it on their own, put about 4 panels on their rooftop. Well, there's a huge cost to that, maintenance, and you're looking at, about a 20-year payback if that's the direction you go.
Geneva County Commission Chair Toby C. says that solar power is something residents have been interested in for a while. Luckily for them, options have come to town quicker than expected.
Wiregrass Electric has been an invaluable asset to Geneva County, and we have had interest in solar power, and this will give our citizens an opportunity to utilize green energy and address those needs.
Now customers of Wiregrass Electric can sign up for this program starting in October. Kinsley, live in the newsroom, Will Polston for your Hometown News Leader.
Will Polston, thank you. Right now, this specific program is only for Wiregrass Electric Cooperation customers.